And we're live. Hey, this is John Johnson with Van Dyke Mortgage, and this is Gabriela, Cernas-frantz.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hope you're doing well today.
Yes.
No special guest, but we are here to be able to go over our monthly mortgage market mastermind
Yeah.
to see what's happening in the market for mortgages, real estate, appraising. Are homes going up? Are they going down? This is a good time, bad time to buy, refinances, down payment assistance, mobile homes, you name it. We're trying to hit all that, and we're trying to do it in less than an hour.
All right.
All right, good stuff. Let's see what we got going on.
All right.
So the goal of this page, and the whole reason why I do this whole YouTube video and all this type of deal, is to help people become debt free through home ownership. I know that when you have tons of debt, credit cards, car payments, etc., those things can really weigh you down. And it's helped me out a ton being able to buy a home, and after buying a home, refinancing that home and getting rid of all that debt when I refinance the home. So now all I got to do is pretty much pay off my home to home ownership. So I like that model. It's kind of like the reverse Dave Ramsey. That's what I'm trying to do through this YouTube page, and we'll keep it moving.
All right.
All right. So before we get started, what is something that has been on your mind in the industry lately?
I think there's a lot that's been going on. I mean, there was my goodness, the economy was dropped their numbers, and I know we're still talking about inflation, and then also for me personally, the new build in the state of Florida. Want to keep more of an eye on that because I know that last year new build wasn't going to be a lot of production from what the New Builders Association had put out in one of their articles, but there still is a high demand in Florida for housing. So how much is that really going to impact us? I mean, interest rates, everybody always keeps talking about interest rates, but for me, it's definitely new build construction and a lot of what's been going on in Central Florida too.
Yeah. I was over in Central Florida for the past 6 months, pretty much Monday through Friday, and I can tell you, there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
There are some country bumpkin roads that you can barely even see the roads on the map. You know, the I-4, those types of things. You can see them very big on the map, but these roads are just very tiny little roads. And if you drive out there, like south of the villages, etc., there is some major construction that is happening out there. I mean, south of Disney, you have like 10 different developers that are doing big giant communities out there.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan, and I'm seeing a lot of that stemming from Orlando is one area where it's extending out. And the villages, I mean, just 20 years ago versus where they're at right now, they're one of the biggest, quote unquote, cities in the entire state right now. And it's growing and growing and growing. So I'm with you. Where is new construction happening at? Because it's not happening everywhere.
It's not.
But it is happening in some places. And in those places, that's where you need to be at.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'll say one thing that's been on my mind, and it's continuously being on my mind, is building as well. But I'm always thinking about building from an affordable housing standpoint. And I mean, accessory dwelling units, mobile homes, I mean, those are the cheapest options and cheapest ways you can better go about this thing right now. People have land, they have backyards, etc., and those things are not being used. The land is just sitting there, and you can be able to put these mobile homes or accessory dwelling units for less than $100,000 onto these different places, and now someone can have a brand new dwelling. You may not own the land that it lives on. It may be on your parents' land. It may be in their backyard. It may be your cousins, etc. But being able to have a nice brand new 500 to 1,000 square foot place where you don't have to worry about paying into someone else's wallet when you're renting, things of that nature. So we're on the same page. We're both trying to figure out this new construction and how to get more homes out there.
More housing.
Yeah.
There's a demand.
There is definitely a demand. All right, let's see what we got going on. So news headlines for rates.
Rates.
I mean, when rates are going down, people are all over it. So let's see. Mortgage rates fall for the first time in 3 weeks. Mortgage calculator to see how much higher rates could cost you. Mortgage rates decline following debt ceiling deal. So people are pretty much saying that it's a potential for mortgage rates to be dropping right now.
Yeah.
You've been hearing that?
I have, and also there was a video that I watched. Somebody who's in the mortgage industry as well. That they're not as low as where people thought they were going to be. But this kind of goes back to like predicting the rates. You can't predict the rates. You don't know. I guess people have a very general good idea when they're in the industry, but there's other factors that are not going to, make the rate go down as fast. Maybe steadily, slowly, but not as fast as where people thought we would be in the summertime here, especially with the summer market, when people are trying to buy new homes or move before the next school year, especially, with families. So, but yeah, I mean, and then also like in 3 weeks, I mean, how many little ups and downs did the interest rates, go through in 3 weeks for them to say it's falling down for the first time in 3 weeks?
You are correct. You actually look at the interest rates; they're going up, down on a daily basis. But the news, they just get whatever headline they can be able to use to try and get you to click onto their website. So we will actually see where rates have been going. So historically, it's just good to understand that rates are nowhere near historical highs. Back in the 80s, really took a tough time. 15, 16, 17% was on average throughout the 80s. And in many other times, it's hung out around 7 to 8%. So us being in the mid to high sixes right now, rates historically are not that bad. If we go into rates over the last 12 months, of course, they started off lower about a year ago, so about July of 2022. They were probably around the mid fives. They shot up around October to about 7, low sevens. And to be honest, ever since around December, it's been consistently around the mid sixes. The news outlets are saying, oh, they're going up, oh, they're going down. But in general, if you bought a home or if you're planning to buy a home, et cetera, over any time over the last 6 months, it's been pretty consistent where it's at with little dips and going higher. So over the past couple of weeks, it went up a little bit, probably went up about 0.25%, but it's dipped a little bit over the past couple of days. So overall, not anything to worry about in my opinion. Rates are still doing their thing, but nothing traumatic or dramatic has happened recently.
Correct.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Real estate in the news. Let's see what people are saying. New York Times, mortgage transfers pick up as a way to beat rising rates. So real estate agents are pushing sub 3% mortgages as an amenity, just like marble countertops, etc. So people getting creative.
Yeah, this is remember the 2-1 buy down, and seller credits have always been, something that can be used in negotiation for deals so that you don't drop the price of the home. You can still sell it at a reasonable price. But it's creative. I mean, I don't think it's the most creative we've seen before.
There are so many creative ways to be able to get a mortgage. There's so many creative ways to be able to get a mortgage. I don't recommend, if you're trying to buy a house for the first time, 95% of the time, you need to be going some sort of traditional route, in my opinion. Whether it's traditional, conventional, FHA, or a down payment assistance program, something traditional. And then once you onto your second or third home and you know how the process works, you've done it a few different times, then maybe get creative. But, like you said, doing an ARM for a first-time home buyer, I don't know if that's the best route for them.
There's a lot of explanation, and the buyer has to ultimately feel very confident about what they're signing at the end of the day. So if it works for them and they get it, then great. If it doesn't make sense, then traditional route is always going to be a better way for them to understand what they're getting into, because they may be in that home for just a few years and then they're going to have to sell, or they're going to move, or they're going to upgrade, whatever life happens after you buy your first home. So, and down payment assistance is just always going to be I think probably, I'm not going to say it's the easiest. However, it's the easiest to explain that you're going to get this money to help you get started. But after that, whatever financial decisions you make when you sell the home, you're going to pay back that money, but that comes in the education process. And I think that makes a more savvy homeowner so that they make better financial decisions later on with that property.
Yeah, I agree with you. Down payment assistance is a simple thing to be able to understand. Hey, if you got 15, 20% to put down on the first time, cool. Put down the money, and if you feel comfortable after putting those down to be able to take care of potential repairs that they happen or do upgrades, do what you got to do. But with down payment assistance programs, they allow people to be able to, the goal is to still save up and do what you got to do to be able to have money. You still don't want to get down payment assistance and then you're going into your home with $0 in your account. You want to get the down payment assistance, but still have savings for the potential things, because those first couple of years when you're inside of a home, things are happening. Things are going bad that you had no idea of. There's probably like 30 to 50 things in a home that can go bad at any point in time, and they're all on a cycle. You don't know what cycle they're on. You don't. I mean, there's the big things that they tell you when you're buying a home. Oh, your roof or your AC or
point expansion.
Exactly.
Those major items.
Those are major items, but then that's probably like 2 or 3 things out of the 40 different things that can go wrong in a home. So you're just getting used to your home, just like you would if you buy a used car. You're getting used to those 1 or 2 things that are going wrong with that used car.
I'm always used to that. I'm used to that for my last car.
Yeah, understood. Good stuff. Better.com, their mortgage company, lays off real estate team and shutters business. So in battle, digital mortgage lender Better.com is getting out of the real estate business and has laid off all of its agents. So, I mean, you see this. I mean, all these startups, they come out, they have these trendy commercials and trendy marketing type of things, and they really push themselves towards trying to get people to use them, and they'll get into 10 different lanes.
Yeah.
And if you understand, I mean, the majority of people who do mortgages, like, they're mainly focusing on one product, whether they're the conventional lender, they're the FHA lender, the VA lender. I prefer down payment assistance because I'm trying to get first-time buyers into it. I mean, yes, technically I can do all these different things, but if you're doing everything, you're not doing anything great. So Better.com was a mortgage company that was out there trying to do real estate. And unfortunately, as soon as someone who does real estate tries to jump into mortgage, or a mortgage company that tries to do real estate, it sounds like this great thing. You're going to invest in both worlds. It ends up not being too smooth for them.
Sometimes it's just better when there are 3 separate entities in one building. You just go to each entity on its own, and they operate on its own in their own specialty, and that's it. As opposed to having all of these, like, we have it all, and we can offer it all, because you're also going to have to expect that you're going to have people that are going to be able to do all. I know that there's real estate individuals who also hold a mortgage license as well, and I always have to wonder, like, both jobs are very demanding in its own.
Correct.
So if your primary book of business is mortgage lending, how much time are you actually dedicating to your real estate side of your business as well? And that's just one individual, by the way. This was a company that decided, you know what, we're going to get out of the real estate industry at this point. And all those individuals, they're licensed, so they'll probably go to another brokerage and start over again.
Yep. That's how it goes. Yeah. Mortgage folks, real estate folks. It's good if you have a relationship, you don't have to change real estate agents and mortgage people every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Once you find somebody you trust, stick with them, because most likely a majority of agents are going from company to company every 2 years. Yeah. They're just trying to get quick deals here, quick deals there. And so working with a group of people like Gabriela, she's been with the Van Dyke Mortgage and the Miller team for a decent amount of time. Yeah. I've been here for a decent amount of time as well. You want to work with someone who's been around the same team for a good amount of time, because this is a team game, in my opinion.
Yeah. We just have a really good, healthy understanding of our capabilities as well. And we also understand our counterparts in the real estate industry as well. So it's a good headline. I don't want to elaborate much more than what I've said.
Cool. And the last one was states seek to bar Chinese citizens from buying homes. All right. Nothing we don't have to deal with too much over in Florida. Maybe that's happening a ton over in California.
Maybe.
But
no, we deal with other foreign nationals in the state of Florida.
Yeah. I know if you throw Chinese on the headline, though, then they think it'll sell.
Whenever you mention countries like China or any of them, it's always going to evoke that feeling of like, this is America, this is our land, this is our country, but
this land is your land.
So maybe go back to the fourth grade.
This land is my land. I miss that.
You know what?
Those were the good old days.
The kids, they sing the songs.
I'm pretty sure I had to sing that like in an auditorium.
I did.
Like in a saluting a flag type of situation.
I was in chorus.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I was a chorus kid. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I had to learn all the patriotic songs.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it's
from California. All right.
I'm gonna have flashbacks.
No problem. All right, so looking at active real estate count and days on market. These are the stats that I wish everyone in the world could see, because these just put news headlines to shame. And they're decently easy to read on your own, but just to be able to go over these a little bit. So days on market or active listing count, that's how many homes are actually being listed. And that's a very big thing, because that's considered the supply of the market. If you have way too many homes in the market, like in 07, 08, that means that there's not going to be not as many buyers, which means home prices will drop. Basic economics. If you don't have as many homes that are out there in comparison to people that are trying to buy, that means that you are going to have homes going up in value. So that's one of the most important things to be able to understand. And as you can see right now, we are still sitting at hardly no homes on the market. Normally this time of year, it increases. It's barely even doing a blip when it comes to how much it's increasing. People are not putting homes on the market, which means that even if there's not that many buyers, there's still a lot less homes, which means that home prices will continue to go up, and we'll hopefully see that.
Yeah, that's a basic law of supply and demand. If there is a surplus of supply, then the demand is low, then the price is low. And if there is a very limited amount of supply, then the demand is high and the price goes up. So that's the basics of economics right there. And I'm not an economist. That is the only law I ever learned.
Gabriela will be teaching economics at Hillsborough College.
Heck yeah. No, I learned that actually in high school. So I'll go back to my alma mater and teach that one class.
Will you?
No.
They need more of that, though. I was at my school, and they were talking about trying to get more parents who have these experiences to come in once a week or for a semester or whatever to teach a class.
They lose me in the math, though, because I told you, me and numbers, we don't like.
There's going to be that one kid in the class. That one kid in the class who understands math. He'll take care of you.
I'm like, hold on, where's my teacher's pet student, the one that knows all the math here? You teach that part.
There's always a teacher's pet. They will find you because they find every teacher.
We do.
You said we. I gotta go.
I know.
Let me go. Let me get away a little bit.
Yes.
All right, days on market. This is another. All right, so days on market. This is another great indicator of what's happening in the market. And if homes are on the market for a long period of time, so if they're on the market for 6, 7, 8 months, that means that we're not in a great situation. That means that buyers can come in there and lowball, but it also means that homes are probably going down in value. If homes are only on the market for 2 to 3 months, then that means that we're in a situation where sellers have more control and most likely homes are going up in value. And as you can see, January was about 70 days on market. So that was already good, being around 2 months. We're right now, as of May 2023, at 43 days on the market. So only a month and a half. Yeah. So we're back into crazy times.
Seller's market, yeah.
It's a crazy seller's market.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I think like if it's been on if it's been on the market less than a month and a half to 30 days, I mean that's a really strong seller's market. Whereas if we're reaching like 3 months, maybe 4 months, because there was one time we were like, no, not this year. Like anything above 3 months, there was a lot of negotiations being happening on both sides at that point. Because people were worried, like, it's been on the market for 90 days. Is my home going to sell? And so they were more willing to negotiate then, too. But what we're seeing in the office as far as contracts go, it's pretty much an as-is. They're getting their whatever they're offering it out or higher. It's some a little bit higher.
Yep.
So we're back to that market again.
There you go. You listen to the news. They're preaching one gospel, and I'm looking at the stats. The stats are telling me, and once again, this is a very local situation.
Yeah.
It's very important to understand that real estate is a local game. So we're looking at national data right now, but what's happening in the Midwest is going to be completely different from what's happening in California, which is completely different from what's happening in the state of Florida. So anytime you're looking at national data, the news outlets, etc., just understand that it's not going to be fully pertaining to where you are at and your specific county, state, neighborhood, etc. Fun times. All right.
I know that feeling too.
You know that feeling too?
I do.
All right. So on to the next median list price. This is a big one because we're competing against last year where the median list price in the start of January of last year was around $370,000. And it got all the way up to about 450,000. So as of right now, we are still trending up compared to last year, but we're a little bit lower than where it was at the peak of last year. So it's still looking the way it's supposed to look. It's still showing prices going up, and then they level out. Prices go up, and then they level out. And actually, last year was a weird year because it went up, and it actually started going down from June a little bit. So right now, as long as it continues to go up and then it starts leveling off like it normally does throughout the latter half of the year, we should be business as usual in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gabriela?
Well, I mean, everything you're absolutely correct. Noting also that when we're looking at when the home sale prices from last year kind of started going down a little bit,
Yeah.
that was also about the time when the interest rates were kind of trending up a little bit higher too. So, the real estate market kind of tends to do that. They'll see what's happening in the interest rate market, mortgage market, and then they realtors will start advising their clients, hey, maybe we need to bring it down a little bit because we were seeing a lot of price correction um, happening last year. Some buyers, some sellers were very hesitant to lower their price of their homes because they still wanted that top dollar for it. And we didn't start seeing a lot of that leveling off until like the later part of last year and then definitely into the beginning part of this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Price reduce share. So this is reductions that are happening in the market. As you can see, is going down. So if there's more reductions that are happening on prices, so prices are going from homes on average from 300,000, and by the time they close on the home, they're closing at 290, 280.
Yeah.
Then that's a potential for in the future, home values to be going down a little bit. But as we're seeing, price reductions are actually going down right now, meaning that more people are reducing. There's less reductions that are happening right now than in the past. So once again, it's looking good right now for the real estate market, if you ask me, from what I'm seeing. What about yourself, Gabriela?
Yeah, there's nothing more to add. It's all of these are just so one graph is just kind of validating what the previous graph is showing and then what the previous graph is showing. So on the national data front, one's showing up as far as we're looking at pricing now, and then also inventory is trending down. So the prices again, supply and demand, the price is going up. There's less inventory available. So
Yeah.
all of that, this is where I say simple economics. If you understand the law of supply and demand, all of these charts will make sense.
Yep, I agree with you. So overall, let's see. Yeah, so after seeing the data, from what I'm pretty much seeing, is business as usual. Home values are going up. There may be 1 month where we end up being less than it was last year by like 0.05%, or 0.01%. But then we'll be up over last year for the remainder of the year. We're also seeing that days on the market has come down from 2 months to pretty much 1 month, which is a crazy seller's market. Sellers have a ton of control, which means prices should continue to increase. There's hardly no homes coming on the market. As of right now, it's still looking as a very strong market. It's going to be tough for buyers still, but it is a strong market, not some market where, things are looking as if homes are going to go down 100,000, 200,000, like people may be thinking. All right. Let's see what we got. And this is some real estate data from just showing Midwest, Northeast, Southwest. This is versus pre-pandemic because 2021, 2022 were not normal years. So as you can see, Midwest, it's the number of homes on the market is pretty much down 50% in the Midwest, 54%, the Northeast, 61%, the South, 40%, in the West, 37%. So a lot less homes on the market. The median list price, so homes have gone up. Midwest 31, Northeast 37, South 34, West 38. They're being listed for more and being sold for more. And the number of days that homes are on the market are in general, they're on the market for less time, meaning that homes are moving quicker all throughout the states. Anything you want to say on this one?
No, I'm going to just, it all makes sense. I mean, nothing here is really shocking. It's what we've been seeing already, for month over month. And yeah, the median days on market, that's just still indicating that there's still a strong seller's market. But the inventory part, that's the big thing is that the inventory isn't significantly there to help adjust these numbers. And this is throughout each region as well, too.
Yep. Congrats to the builders for not overbuilding like they did in 07, 08.
They learned. That was a tough time for them, too.
But there's always I'll say this, there is always a market for affordable homes. Yeah. So 07, 08, when they're building these big giant condos and selling them for these, exorbitant amounts, got it. If things start going bad, recessions, etc., people aren't going to be buying those properties. But when it comes to affordable homes, if people are buying more new homes, they don't have to be 3,000, 4,000 square feet. 1,500 square feet, even 1,000 square feet can give you a lot of homes if you have these nice open designs that we have nowadays. But the most important thing is, more affordable homes coming on the market is going to allow for more supply, more demand. It's going to be an overall good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that builders have to, I guess they put into consideration. I'm saying I guess because I don't work for builders, so I don't have any of that intel. Is that, there was an issue with getting actual supplies, especially supplies that were shipped overseas.
Correct.
So that also hampered a lot of the builders' ability to get these homes turned around in a fast fashion where they were still making a profit, because lumber, the distribution of these supplies to build these homes was disrupted, during the pandemic as well. So that also increased the cost to make that home went up because they couldn't get the supplies at a more affordable or cheaper option. So that made what we consider to be maybe a traditional home build, 1,500 square feet. It cost more for them to build that. If there is ever a way for builders to figure out, hey, we'll build high end, but when things are getting a little leaner, we shift more to affordable housing building, then, that's just a good overall for everybody. The builders, realtors, buyers, sellers, just in general, because people don't always need a 3,000 square foot home. Sometimes a 1,000 square foot home, 1,500 square foot home is enough, or even smaller. So, and then you made a comment earlier before we got on the podcast, the value of the land is really is what affects a lot of the build too. How much it costs to build on that land.
Yeah, you got to buy that land and purchase that land. So that's going up. The cost of the build is going to go up. But to be honest with you, it's mainly the zoning. If your zoning is saying that you have to have, if you're trying to build in a city and it says that you in a certain county, in a municipality, there's a certain zoning code, for this size land, you can only put one home. That's going to affect what you can do. So builders hey, I'm going to maximize what I can put on that one lot because everything's pretty much selling. Then they're not going to put an affordable house in that lot because they could end up being, it makes no sense to them.
No.
But that's why I'm a huge fan of, some of these outer pockets. Like what I was mentioning about the villages, they started off just being a mobile home community.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, mobile home communities aren't bad. I'm not sure where whoever's listening to this may be at, but trust me, get out there. There are some very nice communities. I was on one last week that had a 3-hole golf course on the community. Many of them have ponds, great safety ratings, great neighbors. When it comes to safety and security, you have people walking all the neighbors all the time. Yeah, there's some very sketchy ones that are out there, but for example, the villages start off with these communities. The villages in Florida start off with mobile home communities, manufacture home, these new products that were built, to great code. And then they started branching off into more homes and whatnot, but they're still keeping things decently affordable. So if people are moving down here, coming on fixed incomes, they're able to have a community and lifestyle that works out for everyone. So it can still happen, in my opinion. Is it going to happen in the city of St. Petersburg?
Not so much.
Is it going to happen in the, downtown Miami? No, you're going to have to look more towards the outskirts, in my opinion, if you're trying to find some more affordable housing.
That's all we can say about that. We can elaborate even more on it, but that is, affordable housing it's in dire need, I think, really in everywhere.
Yeah, I'll be there soon.
Yes, please.
Manufactured homes, I got some prices up here. Just understand, single-wise, all right.
Oh, yeah, we got some manufactured homes info.
Yeah, just understand single wides are going to be less than 100K right now. And single wides are normally less than 1,000 square feet. Double wides are normally more than 1,000 square feet. And those you can still get for, probably anywhere between 150 to 200K, depending upon which ones you're getting. So these are brand new homes. They're built to code. And a majority of manufactured homes, you can't even tell the difference between them in a normal stick-built home. They're built in these climate control facilities. So when you're building a normal home, you have the weather that is constantly weighing down on these homes, whether it's snow, rain, wind, etc. While these are built in nice climate controlled factories, they're overall just good products, and the manufactured homes that people have in their head from 40, 50 years ago, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially like we remember, the stigma, what happened in Homestead, unfortunately, in '92 when Hurricane Andrew went through and demolished that whole area. It's There was a whole different building code back then, and they never anticipated a Category 5 just ripping through a community like that. And but because of that, as you mentioned, building codes were changed. These homes are built in climate controlled environments, and really the longevity of these homes. They're not intended to last 100 years. That's how I kind of feel like some of them just don't last 100 years. But if they're being built better and better and better, they'll endure a lot more. But we're in a state that is constantly hit by all of the most extreme elements for any kind of home. We're talking about rain, humidity, heat, sometimes extreme heat, and then we'll get cold snaps. All of this affects a home. But the better quality of the home that is made, especially in manufactured homes, the more that they'll endure. And also there is upkeep with these, by the way. And I do know about this, my husband's family. There is upkeep that has to be kept with these homes, just like anything else. You have to keep up with maintenance on it. If there's any love shifting in the ground, but in the long run, it's still going to be affordable for somebody to live in these homes. Also noting in your graph, the prices have trended upwards in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So
They've trended upwards, but they're still undervalued in my opinion.
don't tell everybody that.
I need everyone to know that. I need everyone to know how great these products are. So
well, they're hearing it here, so
yep.
They can take that advice from here and go out. Then yeah.
Cool.
Even investors should consider, like a new investor, somebody who's buying their first home. And
you can, if you own a home too, you could just almost a majority of places, especially in Florida, in the codes, you can put an ADU in your backyard, and now you can be able to rent that out to someone as an investment type of property. You don't have to go out there and spend $400K on a single family home that, in my opinion, could be used for an actual family that could be purchasing their home. But you can be able to use a property on that land or another land that you own, throw a mobile or a couple mobiles on it or ADUs, and now for very cheap, you're able to have investment properties. And since you only paid $75, $100K, etc. for it, you can actually rent it out and still be able to make a profit. But unfortunately, with investors that are coming in and buying these homes for $300,000, $400,000, they're trying to make some money off of it, and so the rent has to continue to increase based off what they got going on.
Yeah. It'd be nice to find builders who actually can have that maybe open concept of building a home and then also building in a separate unit already, so that they can market it as like, hey, you're literally going to get a single family home and an investment property behind right there.
Yep.
Like, just to build it from the get-go.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
If a builder ever wants to consider that.
It is.
It will never lose its ability to be rented out, or if there's changes in the family circumstance, mother-in-law, father-in-law needs to come and move in, they have their own separate dwelling.
Yeah. A majority of builders I know are very stuck in their ways. They know what they do. They do what they do. Yeah. They're not trying to get out any additional extra, unless you're talking about like architects, and you start talking about an architect.
That's big money.
That's a lot more money. So. There's some room for more builders out there, in my opinion. A lot more room for builders.
I have put the thought out there. Let's see if somebody ever picks it up.
I'm listening.
Okay.
All right. So, of course, always got to throw in a refinance scenario.
Yeah.
So, home value, $300,000, maximum amount, $240,000. The estimated current loan, let's say, is going to be $140,000 that you still have on your current mortgage, which means that the amount you could potentially get back between that $240,000 max loan, $140,000 current loan, means you can get back about $100,000 in cash back. Let's say if you're trying to repair, the roof, some windows, you're trying to get these things taken care of. Let's put those at $30,000. Credit card debt, let's say you put $10,000 towards that, and a car payment. Let's say you put in $10,000 to get that paid off. That means you're going to have total items paid $50,000. Amount that can be going towards savings, $50,000, and monthly payments that you're going to have saved from having those credit cards and the car paid off come out to $1,000 a month. That sounds like a good deal to me.
I love the way these numbers are presented. I think this is the nice, simple way of explaining each one. Everybody's going to have their own different scenario, but this is ideally like this is how simple it could look for you, and all of the benefits that you get. Just fixing your current home, lowering your current debt, and then how much you saved at the end. Because there will be a change in your monthly payment, but when you offset how much you've saved and the value that you've added back into your home, I don't know why people haven't been doing this a little bit more, especially now when there's people have a lot of equity in their home built up.
Yep. I agree. It's because they listen to the news. I mean, if you have tons of credit card debt, it's much more important to get those paid off than to stay at your 3% mortgage, in my opinion. All right. First time home buyer scenario. So if you're a first time home buyer, you're trying to purchase a home. Let's say that home is at $400,000. Let's say you put in down 3.5%. That's $14,000. Closing costs, let's estimate 3%, $12,000. That puts your total cash to close at $26,000. Ouch. But if you get some state down payment assistance, that can be $20,000, say, towards that 26. And let's say that you get cash to close minus assistance is going to be $6,000. So now we have $6,000. We're trying to figure out how to be able to get you to close. Let's say you're able to ask the seller. So instead of coming in at $405,000, you come in at $400,000. Or you bring your purchase price. Instead of bringing your purchase price down, you're asking for a credit from the seller of, let's say, $5,000.
Yeah.
Which you can do, and it happens all the time. One of the best ways we can do to get money down. That ends up making your final cash to close at roughly $1,000. Which, once again, if you have all the money in the world, all the family backing in the world, to be able to put down a decent amount and still have savings to go towards potential things that have in your home, go ahead and do that. I actually recommend that over down payment assistance programs. But if you're like most people and it's tough to be able to find $26,000 to close on a home, getting some down payment assistance can definitely help out. Anything for this?
This is your area of expertise, and as always, this is a good, it's a good scenario, and also it's kind of touching on that seller credit part of it, because this is a benefit to the seller as well. When they sell that home, they don't want to have to show that there was a price reduction. So this is a win-win for the seller and the buyer if they can come to an agreement on what type of seller credit they can get.
Correct. You got it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting towards the end right now. So
fast.
I'm trying. When we get some special guests in here, we'll
elaborate some more.
They will definitely elaborate when we get some friends in there. But yeah, just to continue on that Florida bond program, that's the main one I'm pushing in the state of Florida. It's down payment assistance, to where if you live anywhere in the state of Florida and then you haven't owned a home or land in the last 3 years, you could potentially get this type of money. And there's there's probably about 15 different programs that are within this Florida bond program. Normally you have to have roughly a 640 credit score or higher to be able to access them. Don't try and figure that out on your own. If you're interested, definitely just reach out to myself. I can be able to let you know within about a day or two if you are approved for the program. But the general one is $10,000. And that'll work with FHA loans, VA loans. So if you're a veteran, you can get it as well. USDA, which is rural areas, conventional loans. You can get it for a slew of different things. You can also get it for more mobile homes as well. So $10,000 is the main one. There's also the Hometown Heroes program, which goes towards anyone who works inside some of those more required fields. So like nurses, doctors, first responder fields. Doctors, you even have massage therapists, teachers. There's a lot of people who can qualify for that. That's going to give you 5% of the loan amount as assistance. So if you're getting a $400,000 loan, that's going to give you roughly $20,000. It goes up to a max $25,000. And I think that's actually going up to $35,000. Correct? I need that flyer.
I know that the program's going to roll out on July 1st. That's when it's been updated.
Yep.
It's going to change, instead of Hometown Heroes, because we still know it by that for the past year, to more of like the Live Local Act that was signed by the governor, that now increases it up to $35,000. Up to $35,000. It's still the 5% as well, and it also opens it up to any Florida-based employer. So if you work for a Florida-based employer, you also qualify now as well. So those are some major changes. So it's still going to encapsulate all of our Hometown Heroes, frontline first responders, but now it's also going to open it up to maybe individuals who maybe didn't qualify before. If they were, like, I'll give an example. Some people in the school system, they weren't licensed, so they didn't really qualify for it. Well, now that same individual who works for a Florida-based employer, would be in the school system, now they can also qualify just like a teacher with a license certification as well. I think that's probably like the nicest way that I can explain it, that it opens it up to everybody at this point. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for anybody who's working remotely and their corporate office is based outside of Florida. However, it's in a program that's available. We wish we can make it available to everybody, but it's definitely trying to instill, like, hey, helping Florida residents get into housing as well. But yeah, we'll be getting a new flyer on that soon.
Good. Yeah, it's a great program.
It is.
The rates are, one of the biggest things that used to be said about these programs, the rate's going to be astronomical. And the rates many times on these programs right now are lower than rates if you were getting just a normal FHA or conventional loan. So not only are you getting better rates, you're getting cash towards closing. The main difference is this money does end up having to get paid back. But homes going up 4-5% per year. As long as you sell this, as long as you're not selling this home the next year, as long as you're selling this home, after a few years, I've never with any of my buyers or anyone on my team seen with any of my buyers where this is coming to an issue with that money being paid back. Because the majority of the time, you're getting at least $50K, $100K plus in equity once you sell that home. When that goes into play, you're not actually coming out of your pocket to pay for, these loans that you're getting for down payment assistance. And if that means you're going to get into a home and you're not paying the landlord anymore, because paying a landlord is, it's an unfortunate situation, but it happens. So do what you got to do to get into the home, in my opinion. Once again, I'm like the reverse Dave Ramsey. Get into the home, and then you use that home to leverage and figure everything else out by refinancing, paying off debt. To be able to get into a bigger home, you need to get into a bigger home because you get more kids, etc. But step one, in my opinion, is definitely get into a home as soon as possible. All right. So after you purchase the home, just a few things to keep in mind, especially in the state of Florida. File for homestead. Not only is it going to give you $50,000 off your taxable value, so your taxes in the majority of areas in Florida are going to come out to roughly 2% of your home value, and that's going to be your yearly taxes. So if you take 2% of your home value, then you divide that by 12. That's what it normally comes out to, except for you're not going to be going off of the actual value of your home. You're going to be going off your county assessed value, which is at the very least a lot of times about 85% of the value of your home. So you cut your home value down to 85%, times it by 0.98, then divide it by 12. If you like math,
sorry.
There was
a moment when I was like times 1 point. I was like, oh, this is where I didn't do
one of those Instagram memes where all the numbers start going up in the calculations. Just understand, in my opinion, when you first get into a home, your taxes will jump. It's not going to be that year. Most as a first-time home buyer. If you're a second time or third time, you can carry over benefits from the last home. But if it's your first time and that home was, assessed at $200,000 and you just bought it for $400,000, your taxes are probably going to double that first year. You're not going to see it the first year. So if you bought it, in February, you're not going to see it that year. But come August of next year, you're going to get a notification from your county that's going to say, hey, these are your new proposed taxes. And most likely they are going to shock you if you weren't told that by your real estate agent or your mortgage professional. But just understand, get prepared for it. And as long as you can be able to get through those first couple years, you should be good to go when it comes in the home, because that home is not going to jump up anymore. Once you go from that first year is down here, second year or third year goes up to here, it's only going to inch up for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So make sure you file for homestead. Normally, you're going to get notices around January for that. It's due by March of the year after you purchase. But you can do it right now as well to get it knocked out, because you're probably doing a ton of other things if you just bought a home. But good. Any questions about this or any addition?
No real questions. I just this is one of those things where, as a homeowner, just don't delay in doing it. Also, it helps to update the information on the tax records that you are now the new homeowner. Not to say the tax offices are perfect, but this is your way of doing your due diligence to make sure that your property is listed under your name and not the previous owner.
Yeah.
So that's something, if you want to put it into context like that, it's just making sure that all the dots and I's and crossing T's has been taken care of for you.
And it's better to get it done now than in January, February, when everyone and their mom is thinking about coming in, because you're going to get 50 emails and they put in your sign that says file for homestead, file for homestead.
Yeah.
Also, people who have other exemptions, agricultural exemptions and whatnot. A lot of times they may have to refile or do a new filing. So just get it done, get it turned in. A majority of the time, they'll take that information and you don't have any work to do come, post holidays. Good. All right, we're at the end right now. Gabriela, it's been fun.
It's been fun. Wow, is this our shortest one yet?
Gabriela, we're moving. We're getting through these topics. We're making it happen. Final thoughts. What are your thoughts right now? After we talked about a lot of different things, rates, real estate, down payment assistance programs, mobile homes, we went through a refinance scenario. Yeah. What's your head after going through all this?
For me, my head's not spinning, but if you watch the whole thing and there you have questions, please call.
Especially the math things.
Yeah, sorry, except for that time when he was doing the 1.9 and I was like, oh my God.
Carry the two, square root, Pythagorean theorem.
But the final thought always will be is if you have questions or any of this information has sparked that initial thought to either consider buying, refinancing, get a mortgage consultation, and that'll help answer a lot of your questions. And get a couple. Sometimes, the first person you talk to isn't going to, you're not going to connect and maybe you won't understand or hear everything they're saying, but, call a couple people that are in the industry. Friends, family, and media are not always going to be, they're not going to be on top of these things.
Never.
They'll have good intentions for you, but they'll never be the ones that are the experts in this field, unless they are one of these particular professions.
Unless they're a previous mortgage originator.
Within the last 5 years.
And I highly doubt anyone in the news is a previous mortgage originator. There's probably one out there,
Yeah.
But
the information's out there.
Good stuff. And I'll piggyback. When you need health advice, you go to a nurse or a doctor. If you want help with, how to get your kid better in school, you go to a teacher or some sort of tutor. If you're trying to figure out what's going on with real estate and your personal real estate, and if you should buy a home now, if you should get down payment assistance programs, if you should refinance your current home to make an addition, pay off some debt, etc., speak with a mortgage professional / real estate agent. We can be able to help assist you with that. Yeah. And with that, it's been fun, Gabriela. Appreciate you showing up this morning.
Thanks.
A little earlier this morning as well, too.
Yeah.
We'll try for 5 a.m. next time. And
5 a.m.
And you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.